What's up, guys? Buenos dias. We just got back from church. First time going to physical church in 8 months, maybe even longer since pandemic. It was our Christmas presentation, and they invited me to sing a song. So I sang, "What child is this? What child is this who lay to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping?" I love that song. So it was so nice to be there and to sing. And yeah, check out my outfit. This is like a beautiful dress. I kind of been wearing it every Christmas since I found it. It was like a lucky find in Macy's, Michael Kors. I pick it up. I'm like, oh, I love this dress. I'm like, oh, it's a Michael Kors. I'm not going to be able to afford that. And then I go to the register. It was like on clearance for, I don't know, like maybe $30. I was like, score. Anyways, that's just what's going on our Sunday. Normally I take the day off from social media and I don't go on Instagram. Sometimes I'll like answer messages, but no posting, nothing like that. So Sundays, I thought it would be a cool day to kind of vlog and share some heartwarming stories. And I've been wanting to share this story for a long time. Well, actually, since I've just felt that shift and felt that vibe of, not the vibe, but like the improvement in the relationship with my son. So today I'm going to talk to you about how I think I healed my relationship. The kids are outside playing, so I'm like, okay, this is the perfect time to talk about it. But let me get a chair and get nestled in, and let's talk about this, because maybe you're going through this right now with one of your kids. Great. So I've been wanting to share this story because honestly, my heart has been so touched and so moved by the changes that I've seen in my son and our relationship that I'm like, I've got to share this story. So okay, for starters, I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. They're about 2.5 years apart. When I had my 10-year-old, my firstborn, I did notice like when he was younger, he did have like temper issues. He would throw himself back and he would bang his head a lot. And I honestly was so scared. Like as a mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this child gonna have like emotional issues? He did do that like as a baby. When he was more of a toddler, he would get very grumpy and he was very like, nope, if he wanted to wear the red shirt and I'm like, no, we're going out and we need you to dress. We would fight a lot over what he would wear because he would insist on like not matching, things like that. I'm like, son, we're going to church or we're going here. Like, I need you to, and me and him would get into huge screaming matches. Where I would just get frustrated when he started school. Like he didn't want to wear his uniform and like, oh, VPK, like preschool. So this like from a young age, kind of like we were clashing a little bit, like with his strong personality or like his likes and things like that. And that when he was already in preschool, my second son had been born. And so like I said, 2.5 years into my being a mom. Hold on. Sorry, the kids walked in. Okay, where was I? That was just kind of his personality. So when my second son came around, now I have a second baby, tending to the baby. I feel like our relationship definitely got worse in terms of like our fights. Like we would fight. I don't know. I didn't know that you could fight with a toddler just what are they called? Like whatever. I guess they're toddlers, but like he was already like 4 or 5. So I just like, I don't know. I had never experienced something like that. I was a new mom and like my older son just seemed to be more resentful. If I could say a word, he didn't like me. I don't know. He favored his father a lot and I felt that my son didn't like me. And I know that sounds terrible, but he wasn't affectionate with me. He didn't really ask me for affection either. So I kind of just thought like, okay, that's his personality. If I did hug him, he would like push me away sometimes. So it was really weird. Then when I had my second son, he was the complete opposite. Like, sweetheart kid, snuggly, lovey-dovey. And so had I not had my second, I would have told you, oh, boys are non-emotional. They're not snugglers. They're not affectionate. That's just a boy. Because that's how my first was. My second one came around and he was just like all over me. So it was definitely a stark difference. And whatever, like I said, we just had this like, we would like butt heads a lot. Mornings were an absolute nightmare. He was a huge grump and he would treat me so bad in the mornings. Whether it was just like, get my clothes or like, like screaming. And mornings were so stressful. I would say kindergarten, first grade, stressful, super stressful. So to make this story, like where I feel the shift started happening was about a year, like 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when this like shift really started happening. First of all, he got older, more mature. Our mornings were no longer hectic like that. But what I feel started happening, and it was like these little series of things. So one day I was talking to a friend of mine and I was just telling her how my older son is not affectionate and he doesn't really like me to snuggle him or touch him. But my younger son, they share a room. I always snuggle him at night and I sleep with him. He can't go to bed without me by his side. And I remember my friend telling me like, but no, you have to do the same thing with your older son. And I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't really like want me to. He doesn't want me in the bed with him. She's like, give it to him anyways. And I remember her saying that, and her lesson to me, because she has 2 girls, kind of like similar age. And her lesson to me was just like, no, give them both love. Even if he doesn't ask for it, give it to him. And so I remember like that time, just like making that shift in my affection towards him and telling him, like I would snuggle my little one for a bit. And then I'd say, okay, well, I'm going to go snuggle your big brother because he needs mommy snuggles too. And, in the beginning, maybe he didn't like automatically, like wasn't all over me like my little one was. But slowly, you guys, I started noticing that he would look forward to it. He wouldn't ask for it, but if he was given it, he would totally embrace it, which was different because my little one asked for it or he's constantly giving it. And what I noticed was that my older one doesn't. He won't ask for it. If you don't give it to him, he'll sit in the background and he's not going to necessarily ask, but those are personality differences, right? So when I started making more personal time for my affection and my love that he knew, I started to feel the shift. And here's the thing, when your child acts angry with you, there's resentment. They don't know how to say it. They don't know, like, mommy, I hate that you give my little brother more attention than me. They don't know how to say it. And I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a professional, I'm just a mom with intuition. But this is what I realized, like the way that he acted towards me was like he didn't like me and he was resentful. Why do people act resentful? Because they're holding something against you. They feel like you act a certain way with them. And so most of the times when you don't know how to communicate well or you haven't been taught to, what do? You revert back, you act in anger. And especially kids, they're not going to be able to tell you that. But just know this, if your kid acts like they don't like you, they resent you. And it's up to you as a mom to try to figure out what they could maybe resent you for and how can you improve that. Guys, when I tell you that there has been a 360 shift in our relationship, my older son is so affectionate with me now. He comes behind, he hugs me, he loves me, we laugh together. I feel so close to him. And he is an affectionate kid and he is a snuggler, but he wasn't gonna ask for it. And so what a blessing to be able to be a mom and to be able to like be in tune with your kids, and they're gonna be different. And I think that's the hard part, is that when they're different, or maybe when there's one that shines and has all the attention, because that's my little one. He's the like clown and he's the funny one and the entertainer and he'll dance in front of people, but my older one's not like that. So sometimes those people with the introverted personality can kind of like take a step back. And also I'm very extrovert like my little son. And so I feel like maybe he also possibly competed with my loud personality. I had to learn to not be like, hey, it's my son's birthday, which is what I wanted to do, but he would be mortified if I did that. Or I'd be like, hey, look at his new outfit. And he'd be like, Mom, don't bring attention to me. So I had to learn that about my son. And I think that was another thing, was really figuring out what was his personality. What are his likes, dislikes? And am I pushing him to be something that he's not? Or am I honoring who his natural personality is? And that was kind of like a gut check and something that I had to learn to do, to like love him in his way and also to honor his personality type, which was completely different than his younger brother. And his younger brother, like I said, is me, and he is his father. My older one is like just like my husband, quiet and reserved, but they can talk and they're charismatic and affectionate and loving, but it's not going to be this like, hey people, when they walk into a room. It's just not going to be. So anyways, the shift, long story short, was that, guys, I had to become in tune with his personality, and I had to let him know that I respected it. And he had to know that. Like, I had to, what was it? I think something happened like at school. Like, he got the principal's honor roll. He's a straight A student, has gotten straight A's since since they could get grades, I think 3rd grade on, principal's honor roll. And he just doesn't want the attention on him. And I had to learn to do that. And when I started learning his personality, loving him in his way, making the time to be more affectionate with him, even when he wasn't asking me for it or he wouldn't necessarily respond to it, I kept being persistent with it. I saw the shift. And I think last summer, we were in Texas visiting my mom, and he would just come up and hug on me and love on me. And I just remember like taking pictures and sending them to my husband, like, oh my gosh, like this is how it was, guys. I sent a picture to James, and I was like, documenting this because this never happens. But after that, it was like it happened all the time. And now it's just how he is. And I feel so close, so strong to him, like I said. So anyways, you got to get to the bottom of it. If your child is angry, they're resentful. If your child doesn't act, if they act like they don't like you, there is something there, and it's up to you as a mom to get to the bottom of it and heal it now. Heal it now while they're young. Heal it now while they can still not be damaged by this. Even though they say that kids will remember things, like most of the trauma that we capture and that we remember in our adult life, it starts around 10 years old. So like, was it 9 or 10? Anyways, 10, ripe age. Got to get it together, guys. Anyways, I hope you find this video helpful. I would definitely love to walk you through if you have like any questions, but hopefully this is something that can just open your eyes too. That was something big, guys. That's my biggest takeaway, that if your child is angry at you, there's resentment there, and we got to get to the bottom of it. But there's hope. Definitely now is the time to try to heal those things. That little time period, like that's what you ball up and say, this was my childhood. And so it's such an important time to get these things together so that our kids don't grow up with trauma or just with that bad relationships with us. But anyways, let me know if you have any questions. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.